Everyone, thanks so much for joining us today as we explore the power of first-party data and how marketers like you can create personalized SMS and email experiences for shoppers everywhere. I'm Maggie Dunn, Product Marketing Manager at Yotpo. For those less familiar with Yotpo, we are the leading e-commerce marketing platform. Our single platform approach integrates data-driven solutions for reviews, loyalty, visual UGC, and of course, SMS, empowering brands to create powerful experiences for their customers and maximize their ROI. I personally lead all product marketing activities for Yotpo's SMS marketing solution, SMS Bump. I'm really passionate about creating unique experiences for shoppers and more personalized buyer journeys, which is why I can't wait to dive into this topic today with you all. For everyone tuning in, feel free to submit any questions throughout in the chat here. And then here with me today is Wade Burrell from Mailchimp. Wade, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and about Mailchimp?
Absolutely, and thanks for having me, Maggie. I'm happy to be here. As Maggie said, I'm Wade. I'm a senior product marketing manager over here at Mailchimp. I manage the go-to-market and acquisition efforts across all of Mailchimp's commerce features, including our stores, our websites, and appointments features. If you haven't heard of us or used Mailchimp before, we are an all-in-one marketing platform that empowers millions of customers around the world to start and grow their businesses with our smart marketing technology, our award-winning support, and our inspiring content. Yotpo and Mailchimp have a very similar vision, so I'm really excited to be here discussing such a timely topic today and to show you all how you can leverage your data to reach the right customers with the right content and to watch those results roll in.
Awesome, thanks Wade. And speaking of this topic being timely, let's kick things off a bit about why we're here today. Why are we even talking about first-party data? Well, I'm sure all of you have at least heard some buzz this past year around Apple's iOS updates and the privacy changes they made. First with iOS 14 no longer sharing personal data by default, but requiring users to opt into tracking. Then with iOS 15's mail privacy protection, which prevents email marketers from fully knowing whether an email has been opened, as well as hides IP addresses and ultimately limits access to data that many of us have come to rely on. So while these changes are certainly great for protecting customer privacy, they do make it that much harder for brands to target customers with content that's relevant to them. And if you can't reach your customers with a message that's best suited for their needs and interests, you're going to run into situations that make it harder to drive conversions and keep your revenue stable.
Absolutely, and I think it's important to remember that these aren't short-term problems for marketers, right? I mean, these changes are ongoing. We know that Google and other web browsers, for example, are still plan on blocking third-party cookies by 2023, which is next year, which is crazy. And there may even be more restrictions on the way. We just don't know. But what we do know is that the regulation is shifting in favor to protecting consumer data, making it really critical for brands to diversify their marketing strategies now to ensure that they are set up for success in the future.
Right. Brands need to find long-term solutions during this shift to a cookieless world, not just temporary workarounds. So fortunately, first-party data is not going anywhere anytime soon, and it can really give brands back that power to target and engage their customers. Now, for those who are a little less familiar, what is first-party data? Don't worry, there's so many different data types and buzzwords going around. It can be difficult to really keep track of which is which. I personally fumble myself on these marketing jargon buzzwords and all of that. Maybe Wade, you do too. But worth going over, no matter what. For some of you, this might be a refresher, but it's worth covering it briefly. So first-party data is data that your brand collects from your customers via your own sources. So this could be behavioral or transactional data, such as which products your customers have purchased, or their average order value, membership and opt-in data if you have an active loyalty, email, or even SMS program.
And also, I think it's important to mention customer demographics, reviews, feedback that they've shared with you as a business owner, their website or their in-app activity, and really how they engage with your marketing, such as your emails or your texts.
Exactly. Yeah. First-party data is extremely effective and reliable in that way because it's coming straight from the source, your customer. And it gives you the insights that you need to engage them at exactly the right moments in the buyer journey. Zero-party data is similar and is often considered a subset of first-party data. However, it requires more of a direct interaction with your customer. So according to Forrester, this is data that your customer intentionally and proactively shares with your brand, such as their interests, preferences, like how often they want to hear from your brand, or the fact that they like your chocolate protein better than your vanilla protein supplement, that personal context like that they can share with you. And overall, my favorite aspect is that zero-party data can be used to enrich your first-party data to create those ultra-personalized experiences. So Wade, would you like to share more on the last one here, third-party data?
Absolutely. I think, while both first party and zero party data come directly from your brand and your customers, that third party data is purchased and collected from an outside source like Google. That is the data that's becoming more anonymous and much more difficult to capture, which is why it's so important to focus now on that first party and even zero party. To really, honestly, to create those engaging experiences that actually convert customers. It's a big thing.
Definitely. So we nailed down definitions. Let's dig into first-party data and where exactly you can find this customer data and how can you actually capture it. Well, if your brand uses Shopify, this is going to be one of your biggest data sources to leverage. Shopify as well as other e-commerce platforms, but through Shopify, you'll have insights into your customers' attributes, transactions, behaviors. So if you have an existing SMS program through Yahoo SMS Bump, you'll have access to a wealth of data there as well outside of just Shopify. So data such as where an SMS subscriber comes from, whether it's your pop-up or your checkout opt-in. You'll also have engagement data, like whether they clicked an SMS link within a certain time period or whether they converted via SMS. And also, too, if you use other Yahoo solutions like loyalty reviews, you'll have access to those program details, like whether they are in a VIP tier and their behavior with these solutions as well. But really, it's critical that all of your data across your tech stack is updated and synced in real time. So for example, if your goal is to send win-back campaigns to customers who haven't purchased in a while, you want to be confident that the message that you send it to someone is to someone that hasn't placed an order in like 60 or 90 days and not someone who just placed an order this morning. So access to that real-time, reliable data is going to ensure that you send the most relevant messages at the right time in the customer journey. So there are a number of ways that you can leverage your SMS and email channels, both to collect more first-party data and to enrich it with zero-party data from your customers. So one is through your subscriber collection tools. So think of Yahoo's multi-step pop-up shown here to capture a visitor's phone number and email address in the same touch point. So if you're using Yahoo SMS Bump for SMS and Mailchimp for email, you can capture both email and SMS together and send this data to each respective channel in real time. So this really gives you that unified customer experience that maximizes your subscriber count and the amount of data that you can collect. So pop-ups, while they're known to be one of the top converting subscriber collection tools, you have a number of different on-site tools to capture both email and SMS seamlessly on-site, like at checkout or in a footer widget. We'd love to hear about the landing pages as well. It's something that we always preach to our customers.
Yeah, and landing pages is near and dear to my heart. So it's great to utilize landing pages to honestly help grow your audience, collect data about their behavior, promote products and services that are relative to them as well. And landing pages are standalone web pages that you can use to get those email signups. You can showcase a certain product or promote a special offer, really time-based specific things that kind of come with any type of campaign that you're running. Your customers will land on that page when they click through from your email, your ad, your social post, or any other location on the web. You can then use that landing page to get engagement data to both refine your marketing strategy and to then help create those unique customer segments to target, such as existing customers or new customers or even just visitors. We'll dive into that more in a bit though, but highly recommend landing pages.
Yeah,
now, yeah, and I'll be honest here, it's a bit of a hurdle to convince customers to opt into communications and share with you. I think we all understand that. Even more so today, now that they don't technically have to, right? But whatever method of subscriber or data collection that you choose, if you can effectively share the why behind your request. So what value are you bringing them? What's the best thing? What are they going to get out of this, right? Existing customers will respond, and people will respond specifically to that. It's all about being transparent and providing a necessary value exchange.
Definitely. Your customers are likely wondering, if I share my personal information with this brand, what are they going to do with it? And what am I going to get in return? So the value doesn't always have to be monetary, like a promo for 15% off their next purchase or free shipping. While these are incentives that certainly help, and we do recommend it if you have that opportunity, you feel free to also consider tips or personalized product recommendations that you're offering customers to opt in, early access to an upcoming sale or new product release. It could be an opportunity just to stay informed about their order status, or maybe how many points they've earned as a loyalty member, or even just like the opportunity to communicate with you one-on-one to get quick answers to their most common questions on the go. So really the options are endless for that value exchange. So just, think of your brand, your strategy, and what you can really offer your customers.
Completely agree. And I think today's consumers want that exclusive, unique, personalized experiences. And I think if it's clear that sharing that data with you as a business owner is going to get them that unique and personalized experience, they won't hesitate to do it, honestly.
Agreed. So once you've convinced your customers to opt in through that value exchange, you can also use SMS and email for more direct engagement by enriching your first-party data with zero-party data. So in Yahoo SMS Bump, for example, you could leverage what we call conversational flows. These allow you to turn one-off automated messages into two-way Q&As to discover more about your customers' interests and preferences. So you can really drive them down the right path to purchase. So for example, here on the screen, you can see in this text mock-up, if your brand sells skincare products, you can trigger a welcome flow that asks them to share their skin type with you. So not only are you collecting more data about your customer, but you're understanding, maybe the types of products that they're going to be interested in based on that information that they're sharing with you. So whatever data that you collect through these conversational flows, you can use to then build complete customer profiles and then enhance future messaging with that data.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think another approach you can take is utilizing polls and surveys, which we have right within Mailchimp. You can add a poll to an email campaign to really gauge your subscribers' opinion on a topic based on a 1 to 10 kind of rating scale, or alternatively, you can use a survey in your campaign to ask subscribers a single question with a set number of responses that they can choose from. And these polls and surveys give customers the opportunity to intentionally provide you and your business with key information and insights about themselves, what they like, what they dislike, what their interests are, concerns, and more. It's a great opportunity to get it straight from your customer's mouth, honestly.
Totally. And I think that's the perfect segue into our next topic, which is what you can do with all the data that you capture. So specifically, how it helps you create hyper-engaging, personalized experiences via SMS and email that are going to maximize your ROI and increase your customer's lifetime value. So starting with gaining an in-depth customer understanding, first and foremost, this data is going to help you gain a really in-depth customer understanding. To know details like what products or collections your customer has purchased from can really drive forward your strategy, helping you identify the most optimal ways to connect with your audience and create unique, almost one-on-one-like experiences for them. So say you're a swimsuit brand and you're launching a new cover-up, you can target customers who have purchased from that specific collection before as a way to increase your chance of conversion.
And I can't stress that enough, that bird's eye view of your audience, like where they come from, their demographics, their interests, how they shop, and how they engage. That's what's going to enable you as a business to effectively target them with content that's perfectly tailored to them and their interests.
Yeah, which is perfect for the next one, segmenting your audience. The more you know about your audience, the more you can segment. So create specific groups of customers to reach out to with targeted messages, based on location, demographics, cart values, and more. For example, you could segment customers based on their proximity to your brick and mortar or retail pop-up. So you can invite them to, this in-store experience. Or maybe when it comes to cart abandonment, maybe you want to give them a more meaningful discount to customers who have products worth $100 in their cart versus someone that only has $10 worth of product in their cart. So segmentation really allows you to be smarter about the messages that you send and provide the most relevant experiences.
Agreed, and it's important to monitor and review your existing segments as well. So if you've defined those segments based on opens or contact ratings or even email, client, or location, consider whether other operators or parameters are more appropriate now due to all these privacy changes and things that we're seeing out there. And I think with that, it kind of draws us to that next one with the make every message relevant based on trends and behavior. So as you learn more about your customers and segment them, you can further improve your targeting based on the trends and behaviors that you're seeing from them. So for example, say one of your customers repeatedly purchases an item from your store. This is a great opportunity for you to reach out with an upsell and cross-sell via SMS or email, kind of suggesting a product of greater or even equal value for them to try out. Or you could even let them know what other customers who purchased this product also ordered, really engaging with them and giving them a little bit of that FOMO at the same time. So, yeah.
Yeah, buy it before it runs out. I love that FOMO feel.
Right.
Yeah, you can even use first-party data to add relevancy to one-on-one conversations that you're having with customers. Whether they reach out to you via email or SMS, you can use that data that you have about on their profile to offer them better support and a more personalized experience. So, for example, if a customer reaches out to you to find out if an item is back in stock, you can look at their past purchases to determine, the size that they might need, or maybe even if they have enough loyalty points to redeem for a discount on that next purchase, really just allowing you to provide exceptional service and really increase that customer loyalty. And then the next one, just personalize every message. So, you can make your emails and texts even more relevant to your customers by adding that personal touch to every engagement that you send. So, for example, you can inject details into your texts and emails like your customer's first name, or, maybe you just create a unique discount code for them. In a recent survey that Yapo conducted, we learned that 42% of shoppers found messages from brands more engaging when they were greeted by their first name, which it sounds rudimentary, but you definitely just don't want to skip out on these small details. Plus, if you pair your SMS and email channels with the rest of your tech stack, you can increase the depth of personalization that you can offer and really strengthen critical metrics like customer loyalty and retention. So, for example, the most common that I recommend, adding loyalty program details like VIP tier status or points accrued, or even just requesting reviews after someone completes a purchase, so it's fresh in their mind and they can leave the best review that they can.
I totally agree. And when I think about it from an email perspective, I think having personalized content, imagery, really that fits your brand is super important. And you can build kind of dynamic and personalized content with products in Mailchimp, which is our Mailchimp Creative Assistant. It's an AI-powered design tool which gets to know your brand and then creates and resizes designs for you instantly so you can build better emails. Or even our product recommendations, which will easily connect to your store so you can predict which products your customers are more likely to buy so you can add them to your emails and hopefully drive more sales with much less effort, which is always a good thing.
Always. And then boosting customer engagement and lowering unsubscribe rates. So unsubscribes from SMS or email can happen when customers are blasted with too much irrelevant content. But by leveraging your data to treat every customer as though they are unique, they're more likely to look forward to your communications rather than opt out of them. And then last but certainly not least, again, as open rates become more unreliable, your SMS and email metrics can give you greater insight into customer engagement behavior. So this means you're going to be better able to track and understand your marketing performance and how your messaging is resonating with your customers. So you always know exactly where to iterate and where to optimize. So for SMS, we suggest focusing on click-through rate, conversion rate, ROI, revenue, even cost, subscriber growth rates, which you get with us on every single message that you send, all in real time.
Yeah, and at Mailchimp, I say we recommend you focus on truly the clicks and the conversions as part of your email strategy as well. So you're monitoring your bounces, your unsubscribes, but if your account is also connected to an e-commerce store, you should also consider purchase data as a metric for sure.
Absolutely. So I think it's clear that there are a lot of benefits to having first-party data at your fingertips. I think it's time we can take a look at some of Yotpo and Mailchimp's brands who are really turning to this data to create personalized experiences for their customers today. Starting with American Hat Makers and their agency Curio. This is really an awesome example of a brand who uses Yotpo SMS conversational flows to capture zero-party data and use it to enrich first-party data. So how it works is when a customer opts into SMS for American Hat Makers, they trigger a conversational welcome flow to ask the customer, who are they shopping for? Is it men, women, is it both? And upon a customer replying with the keyword, they now have this zero-party data about the customer and can recommend a certain collection based on their interests. So through capturing this data and flows, they can send more segmented campaigns that are relevant to each shopper and ultimately drive more purchases. And then I think we have the Mailchimp example here.
Absolutely, and we've seen a lot of great brands over at Mailchimp that are successfully adapting to the privacy updates so far. For example, we have Australia-based luggage brand July. They saw a huge drop in paid advertising effectiveness after the changes took place. So now they're really focusing on that zero and first-party data that we mentioned earlier by doubling down on email, brand and influencer partnerships, and honestly testing out new channels like Pinterest and TikTok. And again, this goes back to the importance of diversifying your marketing. And these are all great avenues to engage your customers with directly and honestly make them feel comfortable and confident about sharing their information with you and providing that insights into their wants and desires and likes and dislikes for sure.
Absolutely. In a world where customer consent is no longer a given, brands really need to turn to channels like SMS and email to reach audiences wherever they're most active, showcase that true value, inspire them to share their information. First-party data in itself is valuable for both you, your brand, and your customers because it gives you the power to personalize, right? To create hyper-tailored engagements for every member of your audience that they will actually care about. So you can then in turn maximize ROI on every message you send and keep them coming back for more.
And I just want to say, make no mistake that, these privacy changes have not killed email, right? If you shift your approach and let that first party data guide you, like we talked about today, it will continue to be a massive revenue driver for your business, right alongside SMS, allowing you to reach and honestly engage with your customers where they spend more and more of their time these days, right? It's their phones. So
yeah, we're all guilty of it. I have my phone right next.
Absolutely.
Awesome. So couldn't agree more. But I think hopefully this has been super valuable. I'd love to. I've seen some of the questions come through. I'd love to just address them from the audience. I think we have time for a couple here. So the first one I see is, how is SMS communication different than email? What should I be aware of before getting started? So this is a great question that we at Yotpo SMS get asked a lot. And I think there's a lot of things to consider here, especially that SMS is a new channel. There's different strategies, different approaches. While we recommend sending communications through email and SMS to maximize reach and ensure you're reaching customers on the engagement channel that they prefer, right? Because customers have different preferences, whether they prefer email, prefer SMS. But because you're sending communications through both these channels, it by no means should be a replica of one another. So just look at the basics here. Look at the character count. With SMS, you're working within a limit of 160 characters. So SMS communication, it's meant to be short, straight and to the point. Of course, you can add some of your imagery and use GIFs and things like that with MMS messages, but definitely just hitting on the short and sweet and to the point. And also just recognize that SMS is more of a personal channel, right, for customers, and brands need to treat it as such. So we alluded to it a little bit earlier, including personal attributes like first name, creating exclusive offers unique to each customer. That's what's going to drive the most success. There's a stat out there that 45% of consumers say that one unpersonalized experience was enough for them to switch brands. So there's one takeaway that I recommend: use those first-party data points and attributes that you get within these channels like SMS and email, and put in that effort to be as personalized as can be. So I think there's a lot in that to unpack, but really just using, what we've talked about of all the first-party data that you have available to you, and use it to your advantage. Cool. So the next one I see here, this one I think is for you, Wade. What else should I be doing with my strategy as it relates to the privacy changes?
Yeah, for sure. And I think it also kind of comes down to, specifically with Mailchimp, right? It's about email. We have a lot of things around email. We've been building email for a long time. And I think it comes down to honestly expanding, again, your measurements without like focusing so much on opens and things like that. You really need to kind of double down and really think about clicks and double opt-in for sign-up forms. And honestly, again, email is such a big opportunity for our customers and for everyone and all the small businesses out there to really kind of focus on things other than opens, right? So you look at bounces, your unsubscribes, and conversions. And I think, even if your account is connected to an e-commerce store, and when I say account, I mean a Mailchimp account, you could also kind of consider purchase data as a metric. And we talked about this earlier, but it's as easy as connecting your store, whether that's Shopify, WooCommerce, BigCommerce, or anything like that. You connect it to Mailchimp and it pulls all that data in to really kind of impact your opportunities for hitting people with the right message at the right time, right? And again, with all of this, you're honestly setting yourself up for your success as things continue to evolve within this consumer privacy world, which we know that they will. It's really all it's about, again, identifying the opportunities to understand your customers a little bit more, understand their activity and their engagement with you as a business, and your marketing efforts, and really taking that information and trying to kind of adjust what you're focusing on from a business and a marketing perspective. There's a lot of things you can do, but I think those are really kind of the key things to do when thinking about it going forward.
Totally. Awesome. Well, I think that's it for today, but any questions that we weren't able to address, we'll make sure to follow up with you guys. I just want to say a big thank you to Wade and the Mailchimp team, and to everyone in the audience for joining us. If you have any questions about what we covered today, or if you want to learn more about something and how you can leverage first-party data to get the most value out of your business, feel free to reach me at mdunn@yapo.com.
And you can reach me at wade.burrell@mailchimp.com. And just to echo what Maggie said, I think we hope this was helpful and inspired you to create more engaging SMS and email experiences. Even as things kind of continue to shift in a consumer privacy world, we think you'll get a lot out of this, and hopefully you did. So thank you.
Awesome. We'll see you again soon.